Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to the Dawson and Ashley Show. Where Dawson brings the chaos and Ashley brings the sense. And somehow it all makes sense. Well, sometimes. Hey, so tune in and let's talk about it. What up, guys? How you guys doing? Glad to see you back here on the show. What's up, Ashley? What's up, Jonah? What's up, KK? Blackout. What's up? How you doing, Ashley?
What's up? I'm doing pretty good today. How are you?
Man, I'm chilling, man. It's weather finally starting to, stop being so damn hot here, man. It's crazy beautiful here now. So I'm loving it.
It's my favorite time of year.
Absolutely. What's up, Jonah? How you been? Since last
I've
time
been
the last show.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Thanks for having me, but I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying the weekend.
Jonah, we know, but let everybody know where you from. Where you coming from out here?
I am from Washington. I'm in Woodinville right now. Yeah. But I'm one of the rare born and raised and stayed in Washington.
Wow, that's crazy. So, you ain't lying, because a lot of people in Washington State is like from California, all over the place. I bet people from, and the crazy thing is too, also a lot of people from that, people understand, like a lot of African descents in Washington, and Koreans and stuff like that are in Washington, and Japanese and all type of Asian races out there too. I love Washington State. I miss it, man, but I'm here in Florida, unfortunately. And it's hot ass sun. Hey, what's up, KK? How been popping with you, beautiful?
I've been straight, always straight. What's good? Thanks for having me.
Always. It's a blessing to have you back on this show as always. My beautiful daughter is here to bless me with her knowledge and her wisdom on things. And like I said, Ashley, like we was been lifting you up a lot lately, man. So you have some new treatments coming this coming up week?
I do. I start a new chemotherapy on Friday.
On Friday? So you guys make sure you send some blessing down in that comment for Ashley,
Thank you.
Lifting her up, We say we all gonna say fuck cancer, Fuck cancer. Hey, we're gonna get you through this, okay, man?
Y'all are getting me through it. That's a fact.
That's what's up. That's what up. And so we got a beautiful show today, I always say that, but you guys don't also tune in long enough to watch these shows. We just want to put a shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Those who are watching, those who are sharing these videos, those who, are making comments, and who you are to do all our comments all the time. It's just a big shout out to you and whatever you do out there in the world. Hope it's, positive, lifting people up. But yeah, we got an interesting show today. Me, I don't do the news thing that much often. I don't watch news that much. So I try to stay away from that. This propaganda that's going on in this world. But lately, because of some things have occurred and stuff, I've been watching the news lately. Been on top of it, because this world is not the way we would like it to be. You feel me? And it's just crazy. So today we got a good show about this individual, David. Spells his name D4VD. And I'm pretty sure you guys all, been watching that and paying attention to it. It's been crazy that this young man out here just started his career in music. He was a Fortnite, superstar on Fortnite, and turned musician. He's a artist, and found a body in this boy's trunk of his car. It's kind of crazy. Like the way the news is spreading it out. Like everybody want to look at this person as a victim, right? And not trying to really find a solution to this issue that's going on, right? Because it says that he had, there's multiple people using his car, and at the time he was not even in the States, because he was on tour and he just canceled his tours, right? So it's crazy. I mean, you want to tune into that, KK?
Yeah, honestly, like what I couldn't even stop thinking about was the fact that someone that's like, I think is in his 20s, messing around with a 13-year-old, because at the time it says she went missing, when she was 13. And the thing is like, what I also heard was that apparently he was giving hush money to like 9th graders, and that like teachers and other students and even his fans knew about this whole like relationship, and no one you said anything. And to me, it's like, is it almost normalized or something that some like people think that it's okay for a 13-year-old girl to be with someone that older, like, you know, and I just think it's very crazy because there was like lives that ended up popping up. There was just a lot of, you know, like, or if you think of where they got a lot of this information about, where the relationship even came from, it was always all over the internet, and no one said anything the whole time. There was, you know, times that she like said something about like, oh, how would your fans feel like if you they knew that you rape people and stuff like that, and then he asked people to delete the clips and stuff like that. And I just think that's just very just crazy, like, in the fact that like I'm never one to blame parents at all, and I'm not throwing shots at hers or anything because I don't know the situation, but I just honestly think that, like, you know, the mom knowing like, oh yeah, she had a boyfriend named David, but that's all you knew about this person. And it's just like, if I had kids, I would want to know something way more than just their name. And that's kind of like where I get my question for you guys. Like, basically, how do you guys, you know, go about, you know, preventing this happening to your kids? And like, you know, what's your view and what's your take on this?
I also like to add into that as well. You know, like they canceled the rest of his touring. He had 2 shows that was coming up in California, and also, you know, like there's, you know, Twitch and another outlet, you know,
like a platform.
With this, they broke apart from this kid as well. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, and his producers are putting all his music on pause right now, and his tours on pause. So like,
even somebody that was like a close friend to him, apparently, like they was on Twitch a lot together. They, you know, hung out a lot together, and like he even stood up for him in the very beginning. But then when more information started coming out, he was like, "Oh, I don't know who he is. I barely knew him." Like, it's just kind of crazy.
Because that's going to happen, right? As soon as you start, you know, as soon as that shit, everybody seem they can't make money off you or think they're gonna give them a bad rap, they'll start dismissing you, right? They'll start taking you down and stop, you know, messing with you. But also, he's a fashion store of his merch, and he took his shirt off, which is running some concerns to me that it was a button-down shirt, white button-down shirt that had fake blood splatter on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I don't know what the whole gang of, you know, musicians out there and artists out there, and, you know, people make, you know, blood rituals and doing blood as a thing here. That's to me, it's like, God damn, like, you guys doing some off the wall stuff, you know, saying, bringing attention to yourself as well. But in this incident, you know, like, all these things gonna play a part in, you know, once they building this case up on this kid, right? And that's what's the hard part about it, because if you ever, you know, like I did, you know, did a background check on this man, and this boy don't look like the type of person who would do something like that, but looks are deceiving. You feel me? But like, he just don't seem like the type of kid would go out there and just murder someone and hide a body and just go on tour and like, that's
hack her into pieces.
But like, but be on tour and like, just, you know, singing and knowing you got a body in your trunk, like that's some psychopathic type of stuff. That's some crazy minded people. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to hope and just, like, you know what I'm saying, lift his whole family up, and list, you know, also the young lady's family, you know what I'm saying, there's, you know, they grieving their child, you know what I'm saying, like, she was like, what, 13 when she went missing, 14 when they found the body, now she's 15 years old, you know what I'm saying, like, that's a young life, another young life just taken out of this world because of ignorancy and, you know what I'm saying, just stupidity, you feel me? So it's like, that's what we want to bring awareness to about talking about this guy, David, is that, you know, if he's found guilty or not found guilty, it's still going to impact his young life. I don't think he's only 21 years old, right? So like, there's 2 kids, his life is just over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, because how can, if, you know, just think about someone with a young mindset like that and behind this industry who's going to want to push, you know, your music out there and get you back on tour and stuff, just push you back out there when you're not ready. So that could be, you know, mess up his mental health as well. You know what I'm saying? And he may never bounce back from this. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they were really together, because Michaela, they didn't fight. Did anyone notice did they make awareness that they were together at one point, or is it just speculation that they were together? They know that were they a thing? That came
like
up?
They have lives together, pictures together. They have all types of proof. So like even in, I think Discord or whatever. I don't know if it was Twitch or Discord or whichever. They were like adding each other in, and like they basically, he was saying "bae" or whatever to her and stuff like that. So it was like it was people. It was
I read that they had the
knew.
matching tattoos, tattoos.
Yeah, and then like she also had a thing for like Hello Kitty, and his profile picture on Instagram was a Hello Kitty thing.
So there's some things that's starting to make sense and match to the investigation on this. That's sad, man. Like if he did it, he should be prosecuted to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? Because he was not only that. If they do find out that he had a relationship with this girl, she was only 13. That makes him 18 years old at the time. So statutory rapist, and what I'm saying, if they did have like you would think, like if for me, if I say that if this kid did it, it was probably because of that. Because I remember like even Twitch said that they didn't know the girl was underage as well. You know what I'm saying? They thought she was right around 18, 19 years old when she was posting and coming onto the streams. So like, but if he knew that girl was 13 and she threatened that, I'm gonna take you to, report you.
There was also
you've seen it before.
There was also allegations that that he had got her pregnant or something, but it hasn't been confirmed or denied yet.
Oh my God, man!
That's crazy.
Like, we're gonna continue following this, saying this story, saying, and bringing it to your attention. But this is my opinion on it. Saying my strict opinion on it is like, you youngins out there, you gotta do background checks, man. Seriously, saying, and your parents, you gotta be more aware of who your kids are talking to, who they're dating. Saying, KK knows. I was, not proudly saying this, but I was very strict father growing up about that. I wouldn't let my kids go to people's house without knowing their parents. I would, saying, like, especially if there's a father involved, I'm not letting my daughter spend the night at your house. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Kids didn't spend the night at my house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just a one-sided thing here. It's like, hey, I don't want nobody going back and say, hey, Mr. David touched me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't trust.
Well, that's part of being responsible, is not leaving room for those type of allegations or misinterpretations or any of those things,
I knew KK hated me at the time when she wanted her friends to come over and she wanted to go to her friend's house, and she's like, oh my God, I can't do nothing. But now I hope she realized now that it was all for protection of my kids. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that, people can put a fake smile on their face, you know what I'm saying, and be a snake in the grass. You feel me? And I don't trust people around my kids like that. So I think it's time to put a tighter leash and tighter knot on them kids. You know what I'm saying? Because like Ashley got some kids, Jonah have kids, and thank God my baby don't have any kids right now. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that, what do you guys do? You know what I'm saying? Like, Ashley, what do you do that make sure that your kids are safe? You let them go out, because I hear it all the time. Your boys go out, you got to go take them to get their friend's house, go pick them up at their friend's house. So what's your story to your kids before they leave the house?
So same thing. Outside of like my immediate family and like a couple of my best friends, my kids, as they were growing up, I didn't let them have sleepovers with their friends. We didn't do sleepovers. Exactly. My parents, and I think with Jonna and then another girlfriend of mine, but that's it. And these are, women that I know very well and like I've grown up with, and like, I consider them more family than friends, but I just didn't do sleepovers. Exactly. We know that like statistically, when kids are, not even just kids, but when people are assaulted, it's 9 times out of 10, it's somebody and somebody that's close to you. That's a very common
sad. It's very
story.
sad,
So just not leaving room for stuff like that to occur. I think what's really scary now, and something that I'm in the struggle with right now, is the online stuff. I feel like no matter what you do, it's so necessary. We live in a world where like, I don't think it's realistic for your kids not to be a part of that, like not have access to the internet. Like everybody does, and we have to. Like, the schools give our kids laptops to do their work on now. Like and these kids are so smart. Like, during COVID, my son could get around the firewalls that they put on these computers to do whatever he wanted. So they put these programs in place to try to prevent them from having access to these different platforms. And they're so smart, they figured out how to get around that, you know? And then they put age restrictions on these platforms, like, oh, you have to be this age to create an account. They just lie. I mean, and so it's so hard to, like, you know, you can't stop them necessarily.
Well, and I mean, and I was gonna say, Jonah, what do you do?
Well, I'm just one of those parents where, you know, I have to know the friends' parents. I have to be able to have their phone number, and I have to talk to the parent before my kid goes over there just to verify, no, the adult is saying, no, I'm going to be here. I'm going to, you know, be watching them, even though they're 14 or something like that. And just making sure I know the people, not even just over the phone meet them. It's at least once face to face. And I mean, my kids don't like that.
And yet still, that is still that face-to-face thing too. Like, you know what I'm saying? You still have, you know, this trust is gotta be made. You know what I'm saying? I think that if you look at that as a solution, right? Meeting them, right? It's also still like you still have some type of line of you know, trust in that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and my kids don't, in all honesty, they don't go anywhere. And if they do, it's like, oh, the neighbor across the street, or, you know, where I can literally look over and be like, oh, I see them playing and blah, blah, blah. We're good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do let my 14-year-old have a little bit more freedom. I do. But I feel like it's like something over time we've developed trust, and he's never given me a reason to break trust. And I feel like he has a good understanding, like, of my concerns and the conversations that we have. You know, I don't think every kid is like that. Like, I think about my younger son, and like, we don't have that yet, you know? But I do prefer them to have their friends at my house. Like, if at all possible, I have them come here. I prefer to drive them to whatever like, I let my kids, or my older son, I let him go to the movies with his friends without an adult. I let him go to the mall, you know, but we have good communication. He checks in. I track his location. You know, if the plan changes, he lets me know immediately. Like, he's not giving me a reason not to allow him to continue to do those things, but it's scary. And there's a level of like, I know anything could happen, you know, and I'm just hoping that what I've instilled in him and taught him is enough to help him make good decisions if things happen, you know, and that he'll report to me or tell me, you know, and we'll continue to do that unless he gives me a reason not to. But, you know, like, we had an incident where my younger son had created an account, a Discord account, and I had told him he was not allowed to have a Discord account. And he did it behind my back, lied about his age, created an account, and was talking to an older girl on there. And, you know, we kind of have a rule in my house with cell phones, computers, devices that, you know, in order for you to have it, I have the permission, or I can look through it at any time. There's no like, no, you can't have it. No, you can't take it if I say I want to see it. And so I looked through it, found the Discord app, logged in and saw the messages. And what I saw was really scary. You know, this girl was saying really inappropriate things to my son, who was like 9 at the time. She was older, maybe like, she had to be like 14 or 15, you know, discussing sex and her period, and even talked about like wanting to kill herself. And like, it was so overwhelming. And my son had not told me anything about it, but he had been really emotional and moody. But it just made me realize how easy, like, if that had been an adult, or, you know, someone could have asked him, what school do you go to? Or what's your address? Or, you know, like, and it's so scary. But,
you know, I think it's like breaking down these barriers, right? Like having that trust for your kids first and foremost, right? And that's something like I always say to my kids all the time: trust is not given, it's gained, it's earned. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just sit here and think that I don't trust the world. It's not about trusting you. I don't trust this world that we're living in, right? So therefore, I gotta be a father, a parent, to be like, you know, like, make those strict rules. You're not gonna like it, but you'll thank me later for them. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, Ashley, like, these kids are, you know, lying about their ages through these barriers that the internet and the, you know, these platforms are put forward to protect the kids. They find a way, but you know, also it's disturbing. is that parents don't want to hear their kids bitching and moaning and crying about things, so they'll start logging themselves into their accounts for them. You know what I'm saying? Like age restriction platforms like Call of Duty or what's the new one coming up?
I'm guilty of that. I've done it for certain things, you know, for sure.
Like it's like, and that's one thing that we have to be firm and stand 10 toes down. Let your yes be yes, your no's be no's. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's, seriously, this world is so dark. It's so dark. And we thinking, sometimes thinking as a parent, we think like, oh, okay, it's harmless. But like you said, it's not that your kid gonna get in there and act the fool. It's the knowledge, it's the stuff that's returning back into his ears that he's hearing. Because you know our kids are sponges, right? They're sponges. So they're just picking up all this negative shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you always hear like when there's a school shooting, right? You hear they'll go back and find out, get his laptop and see that he was doing this and this, and he was all in. They're always looking for the dirt, but the solution and the problem is the parent. Look at the parents. See how the parents raising them kids. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember some incidents when people like kids get, you know, go to school and turn DCFF on their parents. Oh, I'm calling the people that say you know, you're treat me bad. And they come in there and look at the house and what they find. They find what's in that house. They look at the house. They looking through the refrigerator, look through the cabinets, make sure you're feeding your kids. But they don't sit there and talk to the parents like, what rules have you placed that your kids, you know, having a hard time, you know, accepting, right? And that's where you come in and you give that parent the opportunity to discuss these conversations with them. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these are my damn kids, not yours. What you do at your house, you know, look different at my house. You know what I'm saying? So it's different. It's different.
You know what's crazy? Well, this is what I thought this was crazy, and I don't know. I'm still on the fence how I feel about it. So my older son just started high school this year, and you know how they give out the ID cards?
Yeah,
like the little high school ID cards. So he just got his ID card, and on the back of it, it has phone numbers. It has like the crisis line, like the suicide line, you know, like whatever, which I agree with. But you know what other phone numbers on there? DCYF.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know, I don't know. It's just weird because I'm like, okay, on one hand, sure, like maybe there's kids that really like, maybe they need that phone number. You know, maybe they need to know it's an option. But the other part of me is like, there's this sense that I feel like if parents are parents, you know what I'm saying? Like I can picture like a disgruntled kid or like someone, you know, my mom took my cell phone or won't let me have a Snapchat and you're awful. I'm calling these people on you. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. So I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Like,
no, I think you should be crawling no fence. I think it's a point where, you know what I'm saying? Like stay the hell out of my business. First of all, right? Because simple fact is, if like, seriously, yeah, it's bad parents out there. Granted, it's bad parents. And people need not have, you know, women need to close their damn legs and not have kids. Yes, it's a bunch of them out there. Obviously, you know what I'm saying? We know this. You know, it's a few in our families that we maybe talk about right now, right? So it's like, don't let it get it twisted. But at the same time, it's like, you know, kids do act a fool and then have that, you know, think they have that option to go call the people on you, right? And at the same sense, right? I'm gonna just you know, say something that my daughter had probably never heard me say this, but like I don't grant myself being the best father in the world, right? I told my kids, my two daughters a while back, I said, you know, I don't deserve the Father of the Year award. But one thing that they can tell you about their father, I can probably say about myself, I've always been there for my kids, right? And I've always provided for my kids. They're in the house and outside the house, I provided for my kids. You know what I'm saying? So I you know, like, yes, did I get in that ass? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? They you know what I'm saying? Michaela got like 2-3 ass whoopings her entire life. So don't let her tell you nothing different. Michaela, let me tell you this, before you get to whipping Michaela be like, hey, I'm telling every damn thing. So you don't need to pull that belt out at all. She gonna tell everybody. She was so terrified of getting whoopings. And the thing,
because it was mainly my sister.
Like my mom said this one thing to all her kids: you spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? And I think that as we grew up, rod had to be taken out of the equation, right? And this is conversation. You spare the conversation, you know what I'm saying? You spoil the child. You feel me? If you don't sit down and talk to your kids and have those deep conversation with, I mean, like, I have a stepson who's 18 years old, and I got to constantly remind this dude, like, every time he go out, like, bro, you're 6'2". You know what I'm saying? 200 some pounds. 18-year-old kid, the police and the people are looking at you like you're a grown man. So what we need you to do is stay in the child's place. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk back to your elders and fuck talking back to authority. Don't talk back to your elders. Because some police officers, some people out there do press people to, try to get a reaction from you. I've been in many of those situations many times when, they push me and try to push me to, do something, react differently. And then my mom told me this one time, you need to bring your ass back here at night. You know what I'm saying? Make it home back here, home at night. Whatever it takes, you gotta make it back home. So that means stay in my place, stay in my lane. Yes, sir. No, sir. You know what I'm saying? No, how much it may feel me degrading myself, I put it in a position where I need to make it back home. So I expect my kids to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's a lot of people out here, a lot of parents out here, a lot of young people out here, right? And not abiding by that rule. You know what I'm saying? They're killing each other. They're getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Like people had their different, perspective about, these police killings and stuff. And I was seriously like, I was asked one question one time about George Floyd. I was working at the barbershop at the time, and I would never give my, response to it because I don't think people liked what my response was. So one time I went on, he kept asking. So I went to post it on social media, right? And I lost majority of my family members and my friends about my comment on that, right? Because I told them, I said, you know what? He should have did what the police asked him to do. He should have laid there, turned around, stopped resisting, and gave up so he can make it home to his family, right? And I said, what the police did was wrong, very wrong. But you're resisting arrest, or you making more chaos to the situation. It's going to just put the oppressor to oppress more. So what I said,
gives them a reason.
Yeah, and this was my response to that. And I mean this today. You take one of mine, I'm taking all yours. Real talk. I'm taking all your kids, your family. I'm going to kill as many as I can, until y'all kill me. Because the simple fact, I don't need somebody to go out there and, riot and tear down the city, burn the city down for my kid. You didn't know my kid in the first place. So why are you going out here doing all this ignorant stuff with my kid's name or my family name, right? So just obey the law. You know what I'm saying? I know people will be like, man, you're a sucker, bro. You soft, you know what I'm saying? You call me whatever you want to. I want my kids to make it home at night. You feel me? I want my kids to be home with me. So, like
I actually tell my son the same thing. I have that talk with my son.
Absolutely.
Where we live is predominantly white, and my son is mixed, and he may be 14, but he's already 6 foot tall, and he looks like he could be 16. And I tell him, I'm like, you can go to Target with your friends, but make sure you're following all the rules. I don't care if your friends are picking up things and moving it to a different department. Don't do it.
Exactly.
And when he was younger, I want to say about 2 years ago, he asked me why. Not that I was letting him necessarily walk around Target and all that by himself, but and I was like, well, it sounds messed up, but it's because you're brown. It's because you are a person of color. And where we live, there aren't very many of them. And the first people that they're going to look at, even if you weren't a part of it, you were just standing nearby, they're going to look at you. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the situation. And so if you get talked to, you use your manners, you say, okay, yes, no attitude, nothing like that. And he was like, well, that just feels like I can't stand up for myself, and it doesn't make sense on why it's like that. And I said, yeah, it doesn't make sense. And unfortunately, that's life. And some things in life you just have to accept. And does it make it right? Does it make it okay? Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
But it's reality.
I think, do you guys would say that if this woman of this young, what was her name, Michaela, the young lady? Asante?
Are you talking about the David case?
Yeah.
Her name was like Celeste or something like that.
Celeste.
That's how it's pronounced.
And you think if her mom would have had those, deeper conversation, asking more questions about David, and knowing she was dating a man named David, I think that, I would say, I think she should have asked more questions about this young man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that necessarily she would still be alive today, but like, at least she would have more information about, everything's going on. Right. And, like we said, I'm not going to speak on no behalf of any parent here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, what I do to my kids is different than you do to your kids with your kids. And I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, them are your damn kids, not mine. You know what I'm saying? You have to raise them. But like,
that's why I brought up the internet thing. Two things, maybe her parents or her mom was more aware than she's letting on. I think some people are kind of bamboozled by like people's success. They're more willing to look the other way. Like this was kind of a successful person. Maybe there's money involved. Maybe there's kickbacks, benefits to this relationship with this dude, like you never know. But the internet, like that's why I brought that up, and I'm very, very guilty of this, especially when I got sick the first time. You know how we used to use that term that like we'd let the TV babysit our kids?
Absolutely.
I feel like that's kind of what these video games and Twitch and the streaming and YouTube has become for our kids. And when I was sick and I wasn't able to keep them in extracurricular activities and take them places and be as involved, they started spending a lot more time on their devices, and having a lot more unsupervised time on the internet.
Absolutely.
So there, you could argue it either way. Like maybe she was more aware, but maybe not. Maybe this is a single mom that worked full time and her daughter's just do on Twitch and streaming and playing video games with, this dude. Like, who knows?
They said this girl was problematic beforehand too. That she used to run away a lot too. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm pretty sure her mom was aware of that. Feel me? Right. So I think, like you said, Ash, I think it's more to the story than they putting out right now. So, but like I want to hear more about the story because it's going to be exciting to see, like what's the outcome of this. Because like you said, the kid he's talking to the police. He's, cooperating with the law enforcement and stuff like that. But like, he's not arrested yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like, to me, it's like, well, if Michaela, KK said earlier that there is pictures there, they were, in some type of, relationship or friendship or maybe, why are they not looking into that? You know what I'm saying? What 18-year-old boy need to be talking to some 13-year-old kid, daughter, saying young girl like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's another thing that's happening in this world is so effed up is that you got like, people here like, Puff Daddy, messing around with younger kids. You got R. Kelly was messing around with younger kids and, to elaborate on what you said about parents knowing, that's what I used to ask the question about R. Kelly. Like, you damn right them parents know about the, saying their kids mess around with this man because you know what? He's probably putting them on, kicking them on something on the side, you know what I'm saying? And I guaranteed you, it's like, bro, this is such a dark world right now that anything is possible, right? That it's people out there selling their damn babies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? There's people out there soliciting their kids out there for sex. It's crazy shit out here going on. So we don't know. Right. And again, this is our opinions on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Not facts. Because nobody got the facts yet. Right. But this is our opinion on it. And I think that me having, my daughter being, a young woman now is like, it scares the shit out of me that, that if I talked enough, I had these hard conversations with her enough to, put in her head that, we talked about it before. We talked about relationships, on our last podcast. About how she said she don't do these dating apps because of these situations right now. And I'm a proud father to feel that, you know what I'm saying? Like, at least my daughter's smart enough not to go on these dating apps and try to, find her, her next boo. Right. So, I mean, but we have to get the solution to this is a numerous of things, right? How parents should get better with this. Right. Ashley also shared that, she allowed her kids. She was signed into, some games for her kids and some online stuff. And it's like, sometimes it feels that when your kids just won't let up and you put all the pressure on you, like you're a bad mom and oh my God, why can't Bobby's doing it? But damn it, your name is not Bobby, right? And what Bobby do is his business, right? But at my house, and that's what I'm saying, like Ashley, I'm not gonna sit here and throw out how you should raise your kids, but I hope that at the end of this, conversation, this in this segment, it'll be some things that we all need to tighten up on, right? That we need to get better at because we are living in a dark age. And I'll say that so many times on this podcast, you'll see, because so much shit we need to talk about is that we're in a dark age. My mom likes to say we're in the book of Revelations right now. We live in Revelations, right? Mm-hmm. We're in a dark age right now where shit like this is taking place near our homes, in our communities, at our schools, right? You know that my wife just gave me this information this a couple days. There's a county over here called Pasco County, right? In Pasco County, and I know I'm gonna get this fucking number fucked up, but I'm gonna say it anyway. She said it was like 46,000 parents chose to put the kids online schooling, and then send them to school. So it's 46,000 kids that show up to day one in school this year. That's one county. Because fear. All the school shootings, kids not making it home back from school. You know what I'm saying? All the fuckery that's going on. You know that our president is taking funding away from schools and stuff like that. It's crazy, man. Like we need to wake up. And that was the indication. We're gonna take a short recess right quick. Make sure you guys continue to hit that like. Continue watching the show. We got another half that we're gonna come back in and continue talking.